This is an estimate that in nominal terms, India would be a $2 trillion economy by the year 2015. By nominal terms, I mean that it is the growth will be about 12%, and if you don't adjust for inflation, etc., and if you adjust for inflation, then it will be about 9 to 10%, and that will also generate, if you again take about 30% as the savings, 33% savings which will be invested, then we are talking about almost $700 billion investment by our own savings in Indian economy every year after about 4 years. And that gives rise to opportunities for many Korean companies to become a partner and sell and come as a contractor. One of the long-term projections is that India will have a very young population. If you look at developed countries, Europe, populations are declining, Japan population is declining, China is also, because of one-child policy, they have some difficulties, and population is aging very fast. And in that global scenario, Indian population, in fact, more than 50% is less than 35 years of age, and that kind of trend will continue, and in the foreseeable future, in the next decades, also India will have a very young population and a high percentage of working age population. Very consciously, we in India are trying to integrate our economy with East Asia. And sometimes people ask me that why India is South Asia and why are you so keen on East Asia? So it is not very well known that India, this is Bangladesh, and these are also 7 states of India. And we share a long border with Myanmar, which is a member of ASEAN. These are our islands, Andaman and Nicobar Islands, and they are just about 100 miles from northern islands of Indonesia. So we are geographically and culturally very much part of East Asia, and of course we have links of Buddhism and cultural links right up to Korea and Japan, going back to thousands of years, and you all would have known about the legend of the Princess of Ayodhya, that she came here and married King Kim Suro. So there is a lot of interaction and identity and harmony with East Asia, Northeast Asia. And in that spirit, we are rapidly finalizing FTAs and comprehensive economic partnership agreements with countries of Asia, of East Asia. India, Korea, SHEPA, we have India, ASEAN trade in goods that has been finalized and signed. With Singapore, we have a comprehensive economic cooperation agreement. The India-Thailand FTA has been signed, and we are at present negotiating FTAs with, or comprehensive economic partnership agreements with Japan, Australia, and New Zealand. So the point to note is that we very consciously are integrating India's economy with East Asia. This question can be asked. I think this is not really asked anymore, but if it is asked, that why should Korean companies or other countries look at India? India may be the 5th largest consumer market by the year 2025. Of course, we are the largest functional democracy with a population of over 1 billion people. Very fast growing major economy after China, one of the fastest growing major economies. Then we have full national treatment for foreign companies incorporated in India. Profits and dividends can be freely repatriated, and stable and very well developed banking system. And since 1991, when we embarked on globalization, it has been a very controlled, very well managed and very well calibrated globalization. we have not suddenly opened our markets or our banking system or our financial markets or our stock markets for foreign capital, because that could lead to problems, as your country and some other countries had some problems in the late 1990s. So, and even in last year, for all these financial problems of the world, Indian Reserve Bank and our Reserve Bank governor was praised globally that they had very sound, very far-sighted and very pragmatic, very objective policies. But at present we have fully convertible current account moving towards fuller capital account convertibility, and of course in full compliance with WTO norms. This is a interesting comparison brought out by our Federation of Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, which is the counterpart of KCCI, that how in India the costs of manpower are low as compared to, they have just compared with China, that a human resource manager annual compensation would be about $15,000, whereas perhaps in China it is $32,000, and it goes the advantage is up to production worker about $2,000 per annum compensation in India. In China perhaps it is $2,300-$2,400. So the basic point is that there is a huge cost advantage if you have some manufacturing in India in terms of labor costs. And another very important fact to note is that with our educational institutions, engineering colleges, computer application colleges, almost 700,000 new graduates per year we train, and they are available in the workforce, which is higher than a trained workforce in any other country. Now these graduates have their basic degrees. They of course require training. They will require 6 months, 1 year of training, but they have a very good foundation in mathematics, in English, in engineering or computer applications, and they can be very good assets and very good employees in your companies. India is a large country, so we have lots of natural resources. Second largest reserves of manganese, third largest reserves globally of chromium, fourth largest reserves of coal, fourth largest reserves of bauxite for aluminum, iron ore, fifth largest reserves. We are exporting some iron ore here also to POSCO and other companies. In mining, all investment is allowed, but in mining sector, one problem which is arising is acquisition of land, which many of you may be familiar with tangentially because of the project of very major project of POSCO of almost $12 billion investment in India for a steel mill in state of Odisha, and their acquisition of land has become a problem, but it is being resolved. It will take a little while because it is not good politics in the long term to evict the farmers or villagers by force from their land. It should be done amicably in a friendly way with a proper compensation, and that is being done. So it may take a little time, but the point remains that in India for large projects, if you need thousands of acres of land, then only some states can provide you that land, and it is not available all over the country. Another very important factor to note is that with our huge population, there is still very large unmet demand. If you look at the penetration really of different kinds of goods, it's extremely low. Passenger cars just about 10 per thousand, motorcycles about 40 per thousand. Only in cellular phones I think we have achieved something which is absolutely phenomenal, that half the population has a mobile phone. So we are already at about 500 million plus, and the trends are that it will stabilize at about 650-700 million subscribers in 2012. Internet subscribers, very, very low penetration. Televisions, extremely low. So there is a huge market still to be supplied with goods and services. And all indications say that at least 40 million people per year are moving into the middle class from the poor class. So they can buy your television, your refrigerators and cellular phones, etc. At least 40 million per year new consumers coming in the market. What holds India back? Why are we not growing faster? If you go to India, why still you see poverty and deprivation? Our infrastructure is very poor. In the beginning, the government was concentrating on agriculture to feed our population. There used to be starvation deaths when we became independent, but now we are self-sufficient in food. So the attention to infrastructure was not there, but now with increasing prosperity, we are devoting a lot of attention and investment in infrastructure.